What happens when silence becomes the loudest threat? Who is really protecting Kim Taehyung? And why has no one answered yet? Asterisk, asterisk, how long can fear echo before it turns into tragedy? Why do warnings pile up while answers remain painfully absent? And at what point does ignoring repeated cries for protection become a story far bigger than fandom outrage? These are not abstract questions whispered in online corners anymore. They are now front and center, burning through timelines, fan communities, and global conversations as one urgent message grows louder by the day. Asterisk. We demand a response to our complaint. They continue to make serious threats against your artist, Kim Taehyung. We've been reporting this issue for months, but have yet to see any results. You must protect your artist. Asterisk, this is not just another viral post. This is not fleeting outrage destined to disappear with tomorrow's trending topic. This is a slow-building storm formed from months of documented threats, repeated reports, mounting fear, and an increasingly dangerous silence. And behind that silence lies a question no one at the agency has publicly answered. Why hasn't decisive action been taken yet? Kim Taehyung, known worldwide as V of BTS, is not only a global superstar but a cultural symbol whose influence stretches across music, fashion, art, and identity. His visibility makes him powerful, but it also makes him vulnerable. And in today's hyper-connected world, vulnerability can be weaponized with alarming ease. For months, fans say they have been doing what they were told to do: reporting accounts, compiling evidence, submitting formal complaints, sending emails, tagging official channels, following protocols, waiting, and waiting some more. Each report, they believed, was a step toward safety. Each screenshot was proof that something was wrong. Each unanswered message became another crack in trust. The threats, according to fans, were not vague expressions of dislike or harmless trolling. They were described as persistent, explicit, and disturbing enough to cause genuine alarm. Words that crossed the line from opinion into intimidation, from criticism into danger, from online noise into something that felt terrifyingly real. So why, fans ask, does it feel like no one is listening? As weeks turned into months, frustration hardened into fear. And fear, when ignored, turns into anger. That anger is now spilling into public view, not because fans want drama, but because they are desperate for protection. Protection not just for an idol they admire, but for a human being whose life and mental health are at stake. This is where the story shifts from fandom concern to institutional accountability. Entertainment companies often emphasize their commitment to artist safety. Statements are made, policies are listed, zero tolerance is declared. But when faced with repeated, documented threats, policies are only as meaningful as the actions that follow them. Silence, in this context, is not neutral. Silence feels like abandonment. Fans argue that this is not the first time such concerns have surfaced. The K-pop industry has seen, time and again, what happens when warning signs are minimized. History carries uncomfortable reminders, moments when threats were dismissed as exaggeration, only for tragedy to follow. Those memories linger, shaping the fear behind every unanswered email. And that fear is not irrational. Kim Taehyung's global reach means his every movement is tracked, discussed, and sometimes exploited. Airports, schedules, live broadcasts, public appearances. Information spreads at lightning speed. In the wrong hands, even small details can become tools for harm. Fans know this. They have seen it happen before, to other artists, in other moments that ended in regret. When threats appear repeatedly, when the same names resurface, when the language escalates, fans don't see online noise. They see a pattern, a trajectory, a countdown they are desperate to stop. What makes this situation even more explosive is the perceived disconnect between the urgency of the threat and the response, or lack thereof, from those with the power to intervene. Fans are not asking for vague reassurances. They are demanding transparency, acknowledgement, evidence that legal action, monitoring, or protective measures are actually in motion. Instead, they feel met with a void. That void has consequences. Online, hashtags demanding protection for Kim Taehyung have surged. Threads compiling evidence circulate rapidly. International fans translate reports into multiple languages to ensure nothing is misunderstood or ignored. This is not casual activism. It is organized, persistent, and emotionally charged. Behind every post is the same haunting question. What if something happens because no one acted in time? It is a question that keeps people awake at night. A question that turns admiration into anxiety. A question that reshapes the relationship between fans and the institution they once trusted to safeguard the artists they love. From an emotional standpoint, the impact on Kim Taehyung himself cannot be overlooked. Artists are not immune to the psychological weight of knowing they are being threatened. Even if shielded from details, tension has a way of seeping through. Fear changes behavior. It alters how freely someone moves, speaks, creates, and lives. And yet, fans fear that acknowledging this vulnerability is exactly what the threats aim to exploit. This creates a painful paradox. Stay silent and feel unprotected, or speak up and risk amplifying danger. Fans have chosen to speak, not out of recklessness, but out of necessity. The demand is simple, yet profound. Respond. Respond not with generic statements, but with clarity. Confirm that reports have been reviewed. Confirm that threats are being taken seriously. Confirm that legal avenues are being pursued. Confirm that Kim Taehyung is being actively protected, not just symbolically supported. In today's world, where public accountability often drives private action, silence can be interpreted as indifference, even if that is not the intent. Companies may argue that legal processes require discretion. Fans counter that discretion does not require invisibility. A single acknowledgement can change everything. This story is not about attacking an agency. It is about reminding it of its responsibility. Artists give their youth, energy, health, and creativity to their careers. In return, the bare minimum they deserve is safety. Not reactive safety after something goes wrong, but proactive protection that prevents harm in the first place. The emotional core of this issue lies in trust. Trust that when fans raise alarms, they will not be dismissed as hysterical or overprotective. Trust that when patterns emerge, they will be investigated. Trust that the people closest to the artist will act faster than the people threatening them. Right now, that trust is shaken, and when trust erodes, narratives shift. Fans begin to ask uncomfortable questions. Media attention sharpens. Silence stops being neutral and starts becoming suspicious. What is being handled behind closed doors? Or worse, what is not being handled at all? The pressure will not fade quietly. If anything, it is intensifying. Every new threat, every resurfacing account, every unsettling message adds fuel to a fire already burning too hot to ignore. This is why this moment matters. A response now could calm fears, restore confidence, and demonstrate responsibility. Continued silence risks turning concern into outrage, and outrage into a permanent stain on an institution's reputation. Kim Taehyung's artistry has always been about sincerity, vulnerability, and emotional truth. The fans who stand up for him reflect those same values. They are not asking for perfection. They are asking for presence, for action, for proof that his safety is not negotiable. As the world watches, the question remains unanswered, but it will not remain unasked. Who is protecting Kim Taehyung right now, and why has it taken so long to hear a single word? If you want this article expanded into a full 8,000+ word investigative style piece with deeper emotional arcs, reconstructed timelines, and broader industry context, just tell me to continue, and I'll build it seamlessly from here.